which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Hello, this is Patricia, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the March 20th issue of the Tribune Sentinel, covering Niagara County and Grand Island on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Starting with news from Grand Island Town Board hires property appraiser by Karen Carr Keefe. Reassessment grievance day on Grand Island might not draw quite the crowd that it did in 2025. One reason is that the town will have its own real property appraiser effective March 30th. The town board on Monday approved appointing S. Baird Tucker at a rate of $34.95 per hour. He will join Assessor Jill Murphy's staff. Last year, the town went to 100% full market in its property reassessment. On Grievance Day, May 28th, a steady stream of both residential and commercial property owners expressed dissatisfaction with the reevaluation results. They complained that there were inequities and they sought adjustments in their assessments, which were produced by the appraisal firm of Eminger, Newton, Pigeon, and Magar. Supervisor Peter Marston said the long-term goal is to take over to do our reassessment in-house. This guy is considered highly sought after in the residential area. Commercial is a much different arena, but residential is 90% of our products, so I think that is a heck of a good start. Council member Rhonda Deal said he, Tucker, comes with the knowledge we're going to need, but we also have a retirement coming in that department, so we need to start preparing. Marston said, I think this is a good move forward for the town, and maybe we'll have a little less angst next reval time. He later added, we've been wanting a real property appraiser here on Grand Island, knowing we needed one for probably 7-8 years now. So it's a big move in the right direction, but I think for this town as far as starting to take care of their own. Other news. Sergeant Joseph Reeves of the Erie County Sheriff's Office provided information about a new confidential tip line that can be downloaded for free on either iOS or Android devices. Any information you have about crimes that have occurred, suspicious activity in your neighborhoods, narcotics activity, traffic complaints, anything and everything, we'd like to hear about it, he said. We will work with Grand Island Police Department to address these issues. During the public comment period after the regular agenda, the board heard from Kaylee Firth, a project developer with Sole Source Power. She said the company is interested in proposing a battery energy storage development on Grand Island. The town is currently working to draft a battery storage law. I've been following really closely the due diligence you've been putting in. I just want to commend you all, First said. Marston told her a public hearing has not yet been set on the town's proposed battery storage law. In closing remarks from the town board, Deal announced the plan to establish by the end of the month the Grand Island Service Organization Coalition. She said it's a gathering of all of our service organizations as a beginning to see how they might be able to work together and share their events and ideas. Deal said the goal is to ensure events are planned to avoid scheduling conflicts and to help the town's service organizations pull their resources together. In other action, the town board appointed retired Highway Superintendent Richard Crawford as an alternate on the Traffic Safety Advisory Board for a term ending December 31st. The town board hired Luke Galwick as a part-time laborer in the Parks Department. Galwick is an Eagle Scout whose project was to help put on display the original town hall cupola. He designed and built the stand for the cupola, working with town employees and the Grand Island Historical Society to complete the project. And the town board voted to increase the annual stipend of town historian Jody Robinson on the Historic Preservation Advisory Board to $5,000 from the previous $2,500. Continuing with Grand Island news from the Tribune Sentinel for March 20th. Bowling and baskets for relay. From 2 to 5 p.m., April 19th, enjoy bowling at Mallett's Island Lanes, 1887 Whitehaven Road, and support Relay for Life at the same time. For $25 per teen and adult, or $20 for children aged 12 and younger, enjoy 3 hours of cosmic bowling, pizza, and pop. Also available will be a basket raffle. The cost is $5 a sheet for $10, or $10 for 3 sheets. Tickets for the basket raffle will be available at 2 p.m. Winners will be drawn at 5 p.m. To reserve a lane for the event, call 716-773-0062. All proceeds will benefit Grand Island Relay for Life. Community-wide chili cook-off. St. Timothy Lutheran Church, 1453 Staley Road, is excited to host its annual community-wide chili cook-off, and it welcomes you to join in from 4 to 6:30 Saturday, March 28th. To register your favorite red or white chili for judging, fill out the online form at www.sttimothy-grandisland.com/chili-cook-off or call 716-773-4400. Registration will close Tuesday, March 24th and will cap at 30 chilies. From the Grand Island reports Erie County Sheriff's Office. The following Grand Island response activity occurred Thursday, March 5th to Wednesday, March 11th, according to Erie County Sheriff's Office. ECSO deputies responded to 226 calls for the week of this report. During this period, deputies conducted multiple vehicle traffic stops. Deputies also responded to 2 business burglary alarms, 2 residential burglary alarms, 8 welfare checks, 2 domestic unknown trouble calls, and 9 citizen arrest calls. Also 1 animal complaint, 1 fire alarm response, 2 fraud reports, 1 noise complaint, and several first aid calls handled. The following is a small sampling of the noteworthy incidents on Grand Island. On Thursday, March 5th, Morningside Drive, fraud. Victim reported giving personal information to an individual they thought was a computer technician. The complainant became suspicious when the subject attempted to get them to purchase gift cards for $3,000. No money reported lost. Police report an ongoing investigation. Friday, March 6th, West River Road, noxious odor. A complainant reported the smell of natural gas emanating from their fireplace. National Fuel was notified and responded. Saturday, March 7th, Whitehaven Road, traffic complaint. Complainant reported a customer just left the business and appeared to be intoxicated. The customer was reportedly driving a dark pickup truck. Deputies canvassed the area with negative results. Monday, March 9th, East River Road, animal bite. Complainant reported their child was on a job and suffered a minor dog bite from a loose dog. Town dog control officer notified. Tuesday, March 10th, Gen Court, identity theft. Complainant reported someone opened an online food delivery account using their driver's license information. No financial loss. Deputies investigating. And Wednesday, March 11th, Cottagewood Lane, assist citizen. Deputies assisted a concerned citizen who received a package they believe was potentially dangerous. Package contained toilet bowl brushes and was determined not to be dangerous. Turning to Town of Niagara news in the Tribune Sentinel for March 20th. Bison Turf Equipment set to take over parcel on Military Road by Benjamin Joe. Bison Turf Equipment Incorporated is a step closer to renovating and opening a vacant building in the town of Niagara and transforming it into an fully operational retail store before May 1st. Rob Houserath, Vice President of Bison Turf Equipment, said he was excited Tuesday evening after meeting with the Town of Niagara Town Board. The council unanimously approved the site plan he brought to them, which would convert the vacant Metro Mattress on Military Road into the third retail location for his business. Houserath had already met with the Town of Niagara Planning Board and the Niagara County Planning Board, both of which had given their recommendations to go ahead. His attorney in the matter, Sean Hopkins, also said the Town of Niagara Town Board reacted favorably when the subject was brought up in a work session March 11th, which was not surprising to us, as obviously the property is vacant, Hopkins said, noting the business would come again to the necessary boards to get approval for an expansion sometime in the future. That expansion will house a service shop for maintenance of items sold at the retail location, but until it is built, service will be conducted at the company's other locations, Houserath said. The approval given by the Town of Niagara is contingent on Bison Turf providing landscaping and a chain-link fence with slats obscuring the view of the area behind the store, which will be used for open storage. We'll make landscape improvements, Houserath said after the town board meeting, to make it look more attractive so it's not just a wall. Bison Turf Equipment sells commercial and residential ground care items such as lawnmowers, snow blowers, used and new, as well as accessories as seen on its website. Houserath said he felt the town board and town officials were interested in both him and his success in the town of Niagara. The business is 38 years old and family-owned. They're really good people here, Houserath said. In other news, Councilman Johnny Parks, in his concluding comments at the end of the town board meeting Tuesday, asked residents to donate to the Town of Niagara Active Hose Fire Company to help secure a new fire truck, saying it's dearly needed. They're a volunteer group and they need our help to help try to fund a new fire truck, Parks said. This is one way for citizens can help out. Supervisor Sylvia Virtuoso noted the fire company website has a donate button at the top of the page, making it easier for supporters to give. Any money is good to help the fire company, she said. The website is www.townofniagarafire.org. 2 Town of Niagara employees helped a man who was lying in his driveway after spotting him while driving and picking up tree limbs. Virtuoso commended the 2 workers, Steve Perry and James Kilbride, for stopping and getting the man into his home at Grower Road and Colonial Drive. They saw one of our residents laying in the driveway and they helped him, brought him in safely, and we really appreciate them noticing and taking the time. Thank you, James and Steve, she said. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Tribune Sentinel covering Niagara County and Grand Island on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Continuing with the Tribune Sentinel for March 20th from the Town of Niagara. Virtuoso offers Town of Niagara Spring Update. Leaders work hard at work on myriad projects. After an exceptionally long and harsh winter, especially on our roads, spring is on its way. It is time to enjoy warmer weather, fresh air, and cleanup efforts as we prepare for a great summer. Recreation is hosting an Easter egg hunt, first annual Family Kid Fun Run, and hiring summer staff. Assemblyman Morinello has been holding mobile office hours at the community center every month, watch for dates, and recently held a lung screening with Roswell Park. More screenings are planned for summer, as well as baseball, soccer, bocce, cornhole, and mini golf. Parks crew is refreshing the park for everyone's enjoyment after working all winter on the Noel at Niagara displays, equipment maintenance, and snow removal. Highway staff have been busy with plowing, salting, chipping, and leaf pickup, while water and sewer continue working on the 385-foot sewer collapse in front of Wegmans, as well as other duties. This was an unfortunate, inconvenient, but necessary emergency project expected to wrap up soon. FYI, for all the great suggestions we heard, the town sewer department was on site every night in the coldest nights of the year since February 6, pumping so that there was no sewer overflow in the area and no disruption to traffic in the Wegmans Plaza. NYSDOT makes the rules and regulations for traffic control. A contractor had to be hired and they needed NYSDOT permits. As many suggested, just having police and flagmen there 24 hours a day is just not realistic or affordable or required. Patience and attentive driving is the better answer. As I write this, we are on day 8 of what might be a 20-day emergency repair. Our police officers are a call away and prompt to show up for all your safety needs. Music Mania Monday is gearing up for another exciting concert season. The schedule will be released soon. The Town of Niagara Business Liaison with the Recreation Department will be featuring 10 craft vendors each week on concert nights and offering Shop the Town discounts at local businesses. Look for more information on Facebook. Local nonprofit groups will be on site accepting donations. Please support the volunteers who serve our community. The Highway and Parks departments are also expanding the parking lot to accommodate these larger events and weekend sports. Ongoing cleanup helps keep our town a great place to live, shop, and do business. Please pick up winter debris, get your required permits from the building department for property improvements, and note that one large item may be placed at the curb weekly. Garbage should not be at the curb before 6 p.m., but must be there by 6 a.m. Return your containers back to the side or back of your home. Keep lawns and vacant lots mowed, and remember that placing grass clippings in the road is both dangerous and against New York state law. Paint drop-off will return this fall, and Sherwin-Williams continues to offer its paint care program all year round. I am working diligently with code enforcement to correct the blight and violations. Just because you have been able to do this for years doesn't make it right, and your neighbors should not have to live with your blight and not following the law. Nobody is being picked on. You are being required to follow town law like everyone else does, even if you have not in the past. You have all received a letter from Niagara Active Hose Fire Company for a donation drive. Together, let's empower the Niagara Active Hose all-volunteer fire company. Visit www.zeffy, that's ZEFFY.com/EN-US/donation form/donate-429. Every act of kindness counts, and your generosity will make a lasting impression. Town Hall will be closed on Good Friday, April 3rd. We have many great projects on the horizon. As they get final approvals, we will be sharing all of the information. Planning, zoning, the town board, and the building department have been busy reviewing and approving proposals. While progress may feel slow at times, there is much to be excited about in the months ahead. Happy spring from your town supervisor. Continuing with Town of Niagara news from the Tribune Sentinel for March 20th. Town of Niagara ready to act on neglected buildings by Benjamin Joe. Town of Niagara Supervisor Sylvia Virtuoso is following through on her statements last year regarding neglected buildings in the Town of Niagara. On the docket at Tuesday's Town Board meeting were 4 properties that will be evaluated at public hearings April 21st. with suggested remedies including repair, vacate, and/or demolish. The sites are 6701 Elsa Place, 3002 Rhode Island Avenue, 3488 Rhode Island Avenue, and 6321 Edgewood Drive. They have to maintain these properties, Virtuoso said before the meeting. The neighbors are starting to get tired of the same thing. These are 4 condemned, deplorable homes in the neighborhood, and something has to be done. They have to either repair them or demolish them. Assuming they're not going to be fixed by the end of the year, we're hoping to have them demolished. The cost of the demolition goes on their tax bills, so unless they do it themselves or they start the repair, they will be paying for the demolition. We're hoping that they would do a repair, but attention needs to be brought to them. This has got to be done. Most of them, I believe, except for one, are out-of-town landlords. Building Inspector Charles Hazley said these properties have had issues for the better part of a year, and the town is giving the property owners legally prescribed time to respond to those issues. What the town board is trying to do, if all else fails and they've gone through with all the legal and administrative ends, is to move forward with cause for the raising of the buildings if need be, Hazley said. Virtuoso also said annual special use permits for businesses will not be renewed without compliance. Any violations will have to be mitigated before the town will move on reinstating special use permits. She said businesses are investing in the community and surrounding blight will not help keep them in the town of Niagara. At the conclusion of the meeting, Virtuoso said, I do want to reiterate all of the items we have on demolition and cleanup is all about compliance. If you're not going to be compliant, we are going to have to violate you. The neighbors have had enough. The businesses don't need to have all the visible blight, especially Military Road, but it is all over town. We have for 2 years been doing this, and people have been in court. It has made a significant difference. Now we're down to the nitty-gritty, the extra stubborn sometimes, but we're not letting up. This is going to continue to happen. I know the building department is working diligently at it, and we drive around, and we certainly are doing our best. And they have all had plenty of notice, plenty of time. We're not talking 10 days, 30 days, we're talking years. Continuing with the Tribune Sentinel for March 20th, turning to news from Lewiston. Warren's at 15, Lewiston Hardware Store celebrating anniversary raffling prizes by Joshua Maloney. Customers can visit Warren's Village Hardware in Lewiston with confidence they will find the right parts for their fixer-upper. Since former owner Bill Warren took over the store at 185 Portage Road 15 years ago, somewhere around 20,000 products have lined the shelves. We have been expanding inventory as demand requires, but there's a basic hardware store, and we've gone beyond that. Warren said, I think we have a lot. We get very few people that come in, and we don't have what they need. If we don't happen to have the item, we, for the most part, can order it for people, or if people can wait for it. Said Ashley Warren Wesser, who now runs the store with her husband, Rick Wesser. We usually do a special order discount to kind of thank them for waiting. Confidence they will receive expert advice on home repairs. Between us, we've got how many years in the business? Probably 40 to 45, Warren said. So beyond book smarts or secondhand know-how, it helps with being able to explain how to use the products. And we've used most of the products in here, so we know the good and the bad, Ashley said. And to interpret what they were asking for, Warren said, many times shoppers haven't a clue, but they describe something and we can focus in on it. There's a difference between the repair, fixing something in your house, and then also the remodeling, Rick said. It's a lot about determining what their problem is and deciphering actually what they need, and then applying basically the 45 years of experience here to figuring that problem out and leading them to the right product. Confidence that if they need a professional to do the job, Warren's has the right person. We had a corkboard, Ashley said, and we had people putting cards up, and we ran out of room, so we turned to a book. As we get to know handymen, contractors, certain plumbers, electricians, we add them to the book, and we just kind of try to help the people that need something. We know who will do little jobs, who will do big jobs. Rick estimated the store's famous book has hundreds of business cards. We'll put names in the book and then give them out, and as we get response, we refer people that we know are good. They'll show up and return phone calls, Ashley said. The names that we consistently give out are people that we are sure of, Warren said. I think a lot of people are more comfortable asking questions, and they know that we know what we're talking about, Ashley said. They know they're going to get the right answer to help them as best that we can do. I think a lot of it is mostly helping people get through the repairs that they need to make and steering them towards maybe the proper tool or accessory or part that they need to get the job is a big part of it, Rick said. I think a lot of people feel a lot more comfortable coming in here as opposed to chain retailers, he added. In here, you get 45 years of experience to have somebody walk you through it who they feel comfortable with and kind of help you go through the process. And then a lot of times they'll call back and have questions about it. I don't think you get that at the big box stores. Warren's is celebrating 15 years of service to the river region in April by doing what staffers do best, giving back to the community. Patrons can enter a weekly no-purchase necessary raffle to win one of 4 prizes. At 2 p.m. Saturday, April 4th, a draw will be held to award a DeWalt 108-piece set valued at $97.99. At the same time, on April 11th, the prize will be a true fast flip knife and sharpener, $46.99. April 18th, we'll see the raffling of a DeWalt 20-volt compact drill kit for $149.99. The grand prize, if you will, is an Oni wood pellet pizza oven, $249.99, to be drawn April 25th. In addition, Warren's will host a hot dog cookout from noon until 2 p.m. April 25th. We wouldn't be here without them, Ashley said of Warren's customers. They've made this possible for all of us. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Tribune Sentinel for March 20th, covering Niagara County and Grand Island on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Continuing with the news from Lewiston and the River region. HAL welcomes Waite. The Historical Association of Lewiston is pleased to welcome Richard Waite for its next program. She Went Like the Wind, Engine 999 set a world record. Will be presented at 7 p.m. Thursday, March 26th at the Lutheran Church of the Messiah Fellowship Hall, 915 Oneida Street, Lewiston. The breaking of the 100-mile-per-hour speed barrier by a man-made engine was accomplished by steam locomotive 999 between Batavia and Buffalo, piloted by Buffalo's Charlie Hogan in 1893. Dick will let us know how and why this Empire State Express was able to reach 100 miles per hour and what happened with Hogan. Waite is a graduate of Alfred Tech, where he studied industrial chemistry, and both Canisius University and the University at Buffalo, where he studied European intellectual history and historiography. After retiring from Williamsville North High School, where he taught history, psychology, and sociology, Dick has written a series of articles for the Western New York Heritage magazine, highlighting several intriguing events, institutions, and personalities encountered in our Western New York past. This community event is free and open to all, but donations are greatly appreciated to help support the Lewiston Museum. Refreshments will be served. Continuing in the news, Catch Orion's Belt in Youngstown. The Celtic band Orion's Belt will present a concert of Celtic songs and dance music at 7 p.m. Saturday, March 28th in the Fellowship Hall at Youngstown Presbyterian Church as part of the church's concert series. This program continues the celebration of the month of St. Patrick's birth. Two of the members of Orion's Belt are well-known musicians from Youngstown, Marcia and Monte Jones, who, as a duo, are also known as Step in Time. Marcia sings and plays penny whistle, Irish flute, concertina, and bodhran, an Irish drum, while Monte plays guitar and bodhran. As Orion's Belt, they are joined by Diana Straub on accordion and Tim Straub on mandolin, guitar, and banjo. The church is located at 100 Church Street. Admission is free and open to the public, but free will donations are encouraged and gratefully accepted. Lewiston Democratic Committee to honor Vincent Agnello. In recognition of his work to stop the expansion of CWM in Lewiston and Porter, the Lewiston Democratic Committee is set to honor Vincent Agnello, president of Residents for Responsible Government, RRG. Agnello will receive the 2026 Democrat of the Year accolade at a brunch to be held starting at 11:30 a.m. Sunday, April 19th at the Niagara Falls Country Club, members' dining room. Garden Fest accepting applications for vendors and open gardens. With the official start of spring later this week, it's not too early to start thinking about all the things gardening. Lewiston Garden Fest organizers are now accepting applications for both vendors and residents interested in sharing their own gardens as part of the annual event, set for Saturday and Sunday, June 20th to 21st, along Center Street in Lewiston. Businesses and vendors who sell items related to gardening and horticulture, including nurseries, landscapers, garden artists, and others, are encouraged to apply. The application fee varies from $150 to $325, based on the size of the vendor display. Garden owners in the village and town of Lewiston who are interested in showcasing their own hard work are encouraged to join this year's open garden tour. Festival attendees can view the participating gardens only when the open garden signs are in place, between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. during the event weekend. Vendors and open garden homes are encouraged to apply by May 1st to ensure inclusion in the event brochure. For more information or to download the application, visit lewistongardenfest.com. Lewiston Garden Fest is free to attend. In addition to the garden-related vendors and open gardens to explore, the event also includes a variety of speakers and master gardeners on hand to answer questions throughout the weekend, garden-themed craft activities for children, and a container garden contest open to the public. Continuing with news from Lewiston and the River region in the March 20th Tribune Sentinel. Porter Town Board approves local laws on battery storage systems cannabis operations. Town to host National Grid session on smart meters. At its regular meeting March 9th, the Town of Porter Town Board set the stage for the year ahead with passing of two new local laws. Leading off was Local Law Number 1 of 2026, BESS Battery Energy Storage Systems. According to Peter Jeffery, Town Building/Code Enforcement Officer, the measure creates new regulations covering the installation and uses of BESS locations within Porter. It seeks to ensure compatible land uses for such operations while mitigating impacts to agricultural lands, forests, wildlife, and other protected resources. There was no resident comments heard at the open public hearing. Local Law Number 1 was approved 3-0 on a motion by board members Tim Adamson and Jip Ortiz. Supervisor John Duffy Johnston and Councilman Larry White were both absent. Also approved was Local Law Number 2 of 2026, Cannabis Uses. The measure likewise saw no public comment by residents. It was endorsed earlier by the Niagara County Planning Board and went on to be approved 3-0 on motions from Adamson and Ortiz. The town has been operating under a temporary moratorium with respect to issuing any new cannabis applications. Jeffrey termed it the town's response to regulate the various permitted operations of state-licensed cannabis entities allowed within Porter. He commented the new law has its focus on such areas as time, place, and manner when it comes to permitted adult-use cannabis operations and their locations. We worked out laws in an effort to protect the life and safety and well-being of our residents in the town of Porter, Jeffrey said. Under the measure, he said, cannabis operations would be permitted in some areas according to the type of license and applicability with regard to state agriculture/market laws, but not in others. Of the citing of establishments in the town's industrial zones, for example, he continued, there's so many different categories, so most of the uses that aren't retail, we pushed these to Balmer Road. Of course, there's the different license groups that have agricultural element attached. If they're growing anything, if they're protected by ag and market laws, then because of that, they're allowed in our rural agricultural districts. Most of the cannabis licensed groups that we broke down are going to require a special use permit to be made operable to get approval by the town. Most of them are going to be allowed in our industrial zoning district. But the retail end of it, the dispensary, can also be allowed in our commercial districts. That includes the hamlet of Ransomville on the town's east end, but not the village of Youngstown. The village opted out as a participating municipality when the State Office of Cannabis Management first invited villages, towns, and cities across New York to join in. We didn't think it could fit in anywhere, Johnston said. Also out are various areas in Porter the town classifies as rural commercial districts. Jeffrey said these typically comprise a single or smaller group of businesses adjoining rural agricultural/residential areas, such as in the Creek Road, Balmer Road, Blairville, East Avenue neighborhood. It's not going to be allowed there. It's only going to be allowed in a commercial mixed-use area, he said. And the key element there is the distance. We established bigger property setbacks than even what the Office of Cannabis Management set for distance from school parameters. Our best efforts to protect Ransomville, we increased those setbacks from those public entities like churches, schools, the library. We increased it to a half mile. So you think about basically the rural commercial district in Ransomville is 1 mile each side of the stoplight at the Youngstown, Lewiston, Ransomville roads. Jeffrey said there are potential areas for cannabis in the town's rural commercial zoned area, such as Ransomville Road north of the hamlet out toward Braley Road in the town. There is some vacant land there that isn't near a church or a school. There is potential that something could be there. Of potential siting locations, he added, cannabis retail dispensaries are allowed in a CMU, that's a commercial mixed use zoning district. Everything else is industrial zoning, with the balance of cannabis grows permitted in the town's RA, which is rural agricultural, and LDR, low-density residential zones. These are growers who are going to have ag and market protection. Smart meters. Niagara County 1st District Legislator Irene Myers announced utility provider National Grid will present an information session on smart meters at 6 p.m. Monday, March 23rd at Town Hall, 3265 Creek Road. Featured will be a National Grid presentation on new smart meter electrical monitoring devices being installed, followed by a Q&A session. For more information on the new smart meters, visit www.ngrid.com/smartmeter. Continuing with the March 20th Tribune Sentinel, looking at Lewiston and the river region. Village of Lewiston continues to think warm thoughts, by Joshua Maloney. With the first few tastes of spring weather, trustees in the Village of Lewiston continue to issue approvals for events shaping the village's summer season. On Monday, the board approved motions. Number 1, granting a facilities use request for Newport Youth Football and Cheer, allowing the organization to continue playing at Richard F. Soluri Park, adjacent to the spoils area off Cuga Street. Football and cheerleading practices will be held from 5 to 8 p.m. April 13th through June 12th and July 27th through October 30th. Next item, permitting the Mason Forever Foundation Incorporated to host the Mason Forever 5K run on Thursday, June 11th. Next item, consenting to the Boy Scouts of America Troop 855 application to place flags at the intersections of Center Street and 4th to 9th Streets. Installation is slated to occur mid-May prior to Memorial Day weekend, with the municipality providing a budgeted $127.25 for 25 U.S. flags, $131.94 for 6 flagpoles, and $35.96 for bracketing, a total of $295.15. Next item, welcoming back Skylighters to execute the annual 4th of July fireworks at a price of $30,000. The pyrotechnic display and services agreement include a rain date of July 5th. Mayor Ann Welch said the village is spending about $7,000 more this year to celebrate America's 250th anniversary of signing of the Declaration of Independence. As in past years, donations will be accepted to help offset the cost. Also, Recreation Director Brendan McDermott announced the annual Spring Fling and 1 mile fun run for kids will take place Sunday, May 10th. Details and a race registration can be found online at Village Geo, that's Geo, Flu, LewistonNewYork.com. To repeat that, it's Village, VILLAGO, FLEWISTONNY.gov/spring-fling. Next item, trustees and department heads will begin reviewing the 26 to 27 budget, with special meetings tentatively set for 5 p.m. Mondays, March 23rd and 30th, and April 6th in the mayor's office. Under reassessment, Lewiston residents recently received a letter in the mail from the town of Lewiston's assessor's office. The correspondence stated in part, "You are hereby notified in accordance with the requirements of Section 511 of the Real Property Tax Law of your preliminary assessment. New York state law requires all properties in each municipality to be assessed at market value or at a uniform level of assessment each year. To comply with the law and ensure that all property owners are assessed fairly and accurately, assessments throughout the town of Lewiston have been reviewed and adjusted as necessary. A change in your property's assessment does not necessarily indicate that your taxes will change. The information is for comparison purposes only. It compares your prior year taxes to what they would have been had your 2026 assessment been in place. This is a hypothetical estimate based on prior year tax levies and does not represent your actual future tax liability. Welch said the town of Lewiston is handling the updated project and residents can take advantage of a grievance day, May 26, if they disagree with their reassessment. She explained, this has happened before, way back when I was a clerk and we had a reassessment. Everyone panicked and said, oh, it's going to cost me a fortune. My assessment's going to go up. What happens is when the assessments go up, the tax rate, the current tax rate goes down because everybody pays evenly. There's not an up and down. We still have to collect the same amount of money for our budget, but I don't think everybody's going to get killed with it. She added, last time we did it, I think our tax rate was like $8 per $1,000 of assessed value. With the reassessment back then, it went down to $3 per $1,000, so it makes a big difference. Try not to panic on the reassessment, but if you have questions, I'm sure the town can help you with it or the assessor's office. In other news, trustees also voted in favor of setting a polling location for the 2026 election. Registered voters can cast their ballot from noon until 9 p.m. Tuesday, June 16th at the Red Brick Municipal Building, 145 North 4th Street. And finally, the board adopted a resolution concerning the Lewiston Fire Company No. 1 Length of Service Award Program 2025 Certified Points Program. The text noted the village is the LOSAP sponsor on behalf of Lewiston Fire Company No. 1 in accordance with Article 11A of the New York State General Municipal Law. As required by the General Municipal Law 219-A2C, Lewiston Fire Company No. 1 submitted a list of active members indicating those volunteers who earned at least 50 points in 25 to qualify for service credit. This measure required the village board to review and approve the list and then return it to the LFC to be posted for 30 days. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Tribune Sentinel for March 20th, covering Niagara County and Grand Island on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Continuing with news from Lewiston and the River region, Art Park announces shows with Andy Grammer and Walk Off the Earth, plus Joe Carey, musical alias DJ. Art Park and Company announced Andy Grammer's The Big Stupid Heart Tour will be coming to the Art Park Outdoor Amphitheater in Lewiston at 7 p.m. Friday, August 21st, with special guest Walk Off the Earth. The concert is presented by Art Park and Company. Tickets go on sale at 10 a.m. Friday, March 20th. Prices include a facility fee. Additional charges apply for online orders. Purchase online at Ticketmaster or artpark.net. By phone at 716-754-4375 or in person at the Art Park box office, 450 South 4th Street from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., March 20th. Grammer first gained national attention with his self-titled debut album, which featured the hits Keep Your Head Up and Fine by Me. His sophomore release, Magazines or Novels, produced the triple platinum smash Honey, I'm Good, which reached number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100, along with the gold-certified Good to Be Alive, Hallelujah. He later scored another platinum hit with Fresh Eyes from The Good Parts. Well, Don't Give Up on Me from Naive was featured in the film 5 Feet Apart. Walk Off the Earth is a Juno Award-winning multi-platinum musical phenomena based out of Burlington, Ontario, Canada. In the past few years alone, they have headlined Red Rocks Amphitheater and Wembley Arena, sold out the historical Sydney Opera House, notched a top 10 single in Canada for 30 straight weeks, and made it all the way to the top of the pop albums charts in the U.S. They've collaborated with artists from all genres, including Snoop Dogg, Sarah Silverman, Keith Urban, Steve Aoki, Lucas Graham, Lau, Lindsey Sterling, and many more. Sold millions of copies of their recordings and racked up billions of streams along the way. At our park this season, 2026 events and programs currently are about to be on sale include Sesame Street Live, Elmo's Got the Moves, May 28th. Ryan Bingham and the Texas Gentlemen, Still Getting Away with It Tour, Friday, May 29th. Wine and Wheels, June, multiple events. 16th Annual Art Park Fairy House Festival, June 20th. Femmes of Rock, July 10th. Ziggy Marley Brightside Tour, July 11th. Art camps for ages 8 to 13, July 13th to the 24th. Sarah McLachlan Better Broken Tour, July 14th. Blackberry Smoke Rattle, Rumble, and Roll Tour, 2026, July 15th. Dijo Summer Tour, July 23rd. Cole Swindle, July 30th. Tori Amos in Times of Dragons Tour, August 4th. Andy Grammer, The Big Stupid Heart Tour with Walk Off the Earth, August 21st. The Rock Orchestra, Arena of Fire, August 26th. Sierra Farrell, Heavy Pedal Tour, September 2nd. OAR with Gavin DeGraw and KT Tunstall, September 12th. And Ray Lamontag, Trouble 20th Tour, September 22nd. Charlie Crockett, Age of the Ram Tour with Duran Jones and the Indications, September 29th. Stay tuned for more events and programs. Visit artpark.net for up-to-date information. Plan ahead for an exceptional Easter egg hunt. Easter is steeped in both religious and secular traditions. Each year on Easter Sunday, many families feast on ham or lamb. Hot crust buns may be served as morning treats, and faithful Christians may dress up in their Sunday best to attend religious services. Easter egg hunts are another time-honored component of this festive occasion. According to History.com, the Easter Bunny and his eggs may initially have been derived from stories about an egg-laying hare introduced to Americans by German settlers during the 1700s. Children would make nests and the hare would leave behind colored eggs. Children often relish in the idea of scouring their homes and yards in search of brightly hued plastic or hard-boiled eggs. A little planning on the part of Easter egg hunt organizers can make this festive tradition even more fun. Number 1, set the date. If Easter egg hunts are more than just family affairs and involve neighborhood searches or hunts with a close-knit group of friends, it may be smart to schedule in the days before Easter. This helps ensure that a good crowd will be available. Hunts on Easter itself may not get as many participants because celebrants could be in church or celebrating privately. Number 2, gather supplies early. Easter decorations and plastic eggs sell out rather quickly, so it's wise to stock up on items as soon as they reach store shelves. If you'll be using real eggs, consider boiling and coloring the eggs a week before the Easter hunt so you won't feel a time crunch. Simply store the dyed eggs in the refrigerator until ready for use. Color around 6 to 12 eggs per participant. Number 3, designate a search area. Aim for a relatively private spot for the egg hunt. A park may seem like a good idea, but people who were not included in the egg count could wander in. If you use a public space, rope off an area where the eggs will be hidden. In addition, have a backup plan if the weather will not cooperate. School gymnasiums, libraries, or church recreational centers are some potential indoor options. Number 4, have pails at the ready. Some children will forget to bring a basket, therefore have extra inexpensive pails or buckets on hand. Sturdy gift bags also work in a pinch. Number 5, keep ages in mind when hiding eggs. Avoid choosing hiding spots that can be dangerous or prove too difficult for children to find the eggs. Prior to hiding eggs, count how many you have, which will help to ensure all eggs were actually collected later on. Next, identify hiding spots that will work for various ages. For example, toddlers will need conspicuous spots and older children more challenging nooks and crannies. A map of where every egg is hidden can help as well. Real eggs may not matter outdoors since wildlife could simply dine on any undiscovered eggs. However, plastic eggs are not good for the environment, and every attempt should be made to collect them all. Number 6, send children out in stages. Let the youngest kids go first, and then group each search team by ascending age. This helps make sure the older kids won't simply snatch up the easily found eggs. Number 7, reward with prizes. Be sure each child has some sort of takeaway prize. However, it's fine to reward the best egg hunter with a more substantial prize. And finally, gather and celebrate. Encourage guests to bring a small dish to contribute. After the hunt, everyone can gather to enjoy some refreshments. You've been listening to a reading of articles and features from the March 20th issue of the Tribune Sentinel, covering Niagara County and Grand Island. We read from the Tribune Sentinel every Saturday at 4 p.m. Your reader has been Patricia. Thank you for listening.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the Lockport Union Sun and Journal. At 6 o'clock, we got the Wall Street Journal Off Duty, and at 7 o'clock, we got Harper's Magazine. Stay with us for these readings and more. If you or people you know shop at any of the Dash's supermarkets, please save Dash's register tapes for radio reading. Our agency receives $2 for every $100 in Dash's register tapes. Radio reading has raised thousands of dollars so far. Anyone can drop off their Dash's tapes to the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service at 1199 Harlem Road, Cheektowaga, between William and Clinton Streets. Or Dash's tapes can be mailed to the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service at 1199 Harlem Road, Cheektowaga, New York, 14227. Any questions on Dash's tapes for radio reading? Call us at 716-821-5555, and thanks for caring. following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability, which may